I'm Jodi Baker. For those of you guys that know me, many of you don't know me very well yet, you know that this is not my most comfortable space. Getting behind this podium up here kind of freaks me out. So in order to overcompensate for that, I wrote like 5 different speeches for today. I'm only going to deliver one, which I have here. But in trying to figure out which one I was going to do today, I went with the most tasteful one, which I'm kind of now regretting. So I'm just going to plow through, so bear with me. Hi, seniors. I know some of you kind of, some of you really well, some of you not very well at all. I would like to congratulate you. I think that you are extraordinary. I've gotten to know you through your work this week, and it's kind of blown my mind. So congratulations to you guys. I was so honored when Sarah asked me to give this speech before I actually realized I actually had to do it. Because of you guys, because of what I knew that you had done, and I feel like I'm here to help honor you, and that is an honor to me. So, like most folks, I spent the better part of the last couple weeks trying to see as many senior project presentations as I could, while finishing up all of my classes and making my kids' lunches super ineffectively, and reminding them that they still had a mom, even though I have been pretty much MIA for most of spring term. But they still like me, they said today. The work I've seen from you guys in this really short time has been extraordinary. And when I say that, I really don't mean in that, oh, you guys do really good student work kind of way. It's extraordinary work by any standards, really, honest to God. It's work that I would be really psyched to see at any museum or gallery or music hall or cafe or theater around the world. It's very, very exciting for me. So thanks again. For a minute, I started to think, as I was wandering around to all these senior projects, that all senior classes at COA might be super interesting and diverse and talented and passionate and creative and smart and super articulate. But then I thought, no, that can't possibly be, because you guys are my first senior class. You're the first senior class that I knew, so I prefer to believe that you guys are just simply the best senior class that ever was. It feels weird, though, to be up here speaking to you seniors as if I have some sort of great wisdom to impart to you, since I really honestly know nothing still. I feel like I just got here. I feel like I spent most of this whole entire year learning from you, learning how to work here, learning how to teach here, learning how to have office hours here, learning how to dress for wet and cold properly. And now you're all headed out into the world to do really important and interesting COA graduate type things, and I'm here still really just trying to figure out what's what. There's so much that I don't know. Just ask Barbara Carter. She totally knows. I don't know my copier code. I don't know my budget code. I don't know which building is Millard and which one is Doherty. I don't know any of the dorm names at all, which is probably good. I've never been to Great Duck, but that's on John Anderson. That's his fault. I still constantly say Mount Desert Island, and I constantly get corrected. The point is I'm still really green. So I decided that maybe my talk today should just embrace that. All that not knowing. I guess I figure that I can talk to you today a tiny bit about what it feels like for me to be a brand new member of this strange and kind of wonderful microcosm that is COA. Because maybe after all this time you forgot what that was like. Maybe somehow it will relate to wherever you're headed now. So first, you should know that I've never worked or lived anywhere like this place in my whole life. And so far, I love it very much. I love it so much. I love it in ways that I hadn't really anticipated. But I noticed that when I tried to explain to all of my old colleagues and to my extended family what it is about this place that I find so extraordinary, it never feels completely accurate. So I was thinking about that, and I remembered this winter when I was working with a particularly incredible group of students in my movement training class. I felt like we hit upon something in that class, something that seemed to clarify at least a little bit for me what this place is like, what it feels like to be here and live here and work with you guys. We were using this book called Viewpoints by Anne Bogart. And in the book, she was talking about this guy, Eugenio Barba, if any of you know of him. He's an Italian theater theorist and a director who created the International School of Theater Anthropology in Denmark, which is a big deal. The quotation in the book goes like this. Barba asked the question, What do all actors around the world, despite their language and cultural differences, share in common? He calls the answer to this question sats, which I may be mispronouncing. If I am, I'm sorry. This is a Norwegian word that describes the quality of energy in the moment just before an action, any action. The action itself, post-sats, is particular to the culture of the performer, but the quality and energy before the action is what all actors around the world share. And this is the important part. It's the quality of the preparation, the quality of the happening before any action that determines the success of any action. Bogart uses archery as an example. The archer pulls the arrow back taut inside the tension of the bow and aims. And it's that moment just before the release of the arrow that constitutes the sats. The success of the arrow's journey is decided by the quality of the moment before the release, not the release itself. And Bogart goes on and on and on and on to explain that if this palpable energy is qualitatively attended to, the corresponding action, the following movement, not only becomes more articulate, but also much more meaningful and more vital and more connected. Now, Barba is talking primarily about actor training, and Bogart is talking primarily about movement training for actors. But I think that these concepts apply to all of us. I think they apply to anybody trying to figure out what the next move is. That's you guys. And where we go from here and how we can most effectively get there. That's me too, actually. And this feeling of a common and constant attentiveness around this sats moment, that almost unbearable excitement, that brilliant sort of super tight, focused tension, that's what it feels like here to me much of the time. The intense energy of the moment before is always in the air here. And this week it's especially palpable, which I guess makes you guys a bunch of arrows ready to be shot out into the world, which is, now that I think of it, sort of a cheesy metaphor, I'm sorry. At the time, it sounded really awesome. Personally, though, I like to think of you guys more like the archer as well, which I don't think is possible, but I like that idea of you sort of owning a piece of your own destiny as well. But regardless, that's how it feels around here to me, at least this year. It's kind of scary in a way, but it's also really, really awesome. So for me, this place feels like the distillation of possibility. And if that's what it is, then COA brews it super strong. The other thing I found myself thinking about a lot in this first year is how I can possibly find my most effective voice within this supercharged context. What is it I can best contribute to this crazy sats machine, and how my particular and sometimes peculiar point of view might fit in here most effectively? So I've been reading a bunch of books, and I've been reading this one book I've talked to many of you about. It's by a woman named Elena Passarella, and it's a collection of contemporary essays loosely connected by the theme of vocal production. Some are quite technical. They're about the physiology and vocal anatomy of voice production, but also about musical phrasing and finding and using and abusing and embracing the voice and all of its power to all sorts of crazy ends in this book. I've learned from this book that there is apparently an annual competition in New Orleans where people from all over gather to enter their own renditions of Marlon Brando's Scream from Streetcar Named Desire, which I think is so great. It's the scene where he screams. If you don't know the movie, he screams, "Stella!" and he's screaming, and he's ripping off his shirt, and he's sweaty, and he's Marlon Brando, and it's awesome. So, that's the most amazing, famous scene ever. So all these people gather from all over the world, and they do that, and they compete. And the woman who wrote this book, Elena Passarella, entered this competition in 2011, and she won. And she was the first woman to ever win, which I thought was also amazing. You can watch it on YouTube if you would like. It's tremendous. Anyway, it's pretty extraordinary, and I think I've become sort of obsessed with that silly video and with her corresponding essays because her take on the significance and the power of one's own voice to move others seems to me to connect so vividly with what all of us do here, what the students and the staff and the faculty together are trying to do. And I think it's really important. Not necessarily trying to scream Stella, though that would be really cool. I wish that we would do that here. But trying to define and clarify and harness the power of our individual and collective voices for the good. And that's what you guys are going to do. I think that's awesome. What's been most amazing for me here is listening to all the voices around me, voices of my new colleagues discussing their own work at faculty meetings or beaming with pride over the work of a student at an amazing jazz concert last night. And the voices of my students celebrating each other's work in my classes or challenging each other to push further, to think harder on a topic that we've been wrestling with for hours and hours and hours, and being willing to stay and continue diving in. Listening to all of your voices, some soft, some driving, some melodic, I think is how you say that, some a little more punk rock. It's been a little intimidating, but it's also been a huge part of my initiation here, and it's been really inspiring. Whether you are sure of it or not, you have all found a strong and incredibly valuable voice of your own here. I'm confident you will use it for the greater good, but you should also feel free to use it in other ways too. You should use it for more things than that. You should use it, you should yell, and you should sing, and you should yell and sing at the same time. You should change it up. Your voice is fundamental to who you are, and sharing that piece of you, your humanness, is really what it's all about, I think. So that's a small slice of what's been on my mind over this week, one of 5 speeches. I believe today I'm supposed to be finding ways to inspire you to go out there and to do great things and to change your world and to discover and invent and collaborate, but you don't really need me to boost your confidence to do that. You guys already learned that here, and you have that in you now. You'll be just fine, I have no doubt. Most of me really does want to just cheer you on and to say good luck and to say be well and goodbye. But then honestly, there's this other little part of me that kind of wants to say, really? Why would you leave here? Like, you don't have to go. Like, you could just stay. It's really great. The people here are passionate and thoughtful and fantastically eccentric and interesting, and the landscape is amazing. They call this place Eden. Why would you ever leave here? But no. You should go. You should go out. You should do all the world-changing stuff, but please come back and visit, because I think you will be very missed here. I know you will. I hardly know you, and I will really miss you, and I can only imagine what these old-timers think, so that's it. Congratulations, everyone, very much. Thank you.